All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being out there. Welcome to the 2025 National in Chicago, where the 2026 and 2027 National will also be. My name's John Newman, host of Sports Card Nation, Hobby Quick Hits, Breaking Cardboard. I probably forgot something, but that we only have an hour, so I'll quit there. I'm gonna. Hobby Hotline is a Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern show. Right now, we're on the first and third Saturdays of each month. For August, will be the second and fourth week with the national schedule, and that may change. We may go back to every week. We'll see what develops there. Enough of me talking. I'm going to have the panelists. We're a show that has, I think, 14, 15 different personalities and collectors and people of the hobby, and I love that. And I think we're on our 5th year. My math is right. And we've had some people come through and leave, but we've got a great panel right now. I'm going to have everyone sort of introduce themselves, their own content. We'll kind of start from left to right here, or my left.
All right, appreciate it, John. Alex Tressler, a.k.a. Army ATC25, anywhere on social media. I deal with a lot of the hobby community, capturing those moments that a lot of people might not be able to see at shows and everything else. And I just enjoy it. 22 years, Army retired vet, and just enjoying the passion.
I just saw a couple of videos of you from back in the day.
Yeah.
The young Alex. I almost didn't recognize you, man.
Yeah, everyone's telling me I should shave the beard off and, go back to those days. So I posted a few videos from the National here in 2013 in Chicago. It was the first time I ever come to the National at Chicago was then, and I thought it was a good throwback.
Yeah, so if anyone says, hey, you've only been in the hobby 4 years, you have proof that that's not true.
I have receipts, as they say, these days, right?
Thanks, Alex. Go ahead.
I'm Lauren. My handle is Lauren Goes Here everywhere. I do card art. I hand embroider cards. I am very happy to be a part of the Hobby Hotline team, and I also write for collectibles on SI. And I'm also set up with my husband. We go around to card shows a lot and set up. A lot of basketball, high-end basketball, Kobe, Jordan, and right now very heavy on the WWE, which is a lot of fun.
What's up, everybody? My name is Adam Palmer, Adam Drew Palmer on all the platforms. I used to be Heroes for Sale. I also write with collectibles on SI. I have a daily show on Sports Card Nonsense as well. Been doing a host. I think I was the first episode I did was maybe episode 200, and I think we're probably in the 400s now.
Yeah, and I think we screwed up the count too. So there's a couple. I think there's a couple episodes that never happened. We just skipped the number. So those are the lost episodes. But yeah, it's crazy. 5 years of doing the show, and again, thanks everyone up here who's currently part of it. But thank you to all the people who've come through and have lent their expertise and their time. It's what makes us what we are.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And then it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Adam Drew Palmer. That's where you can find me everywhere. TikTok is where I'm trying to cover the show as much as I can, so I'd appreciate if everybody looked at those videos because I'm spending a lot of time on those. So, yeah, next.
Yeah, I'm Logan Ward, King NASCAR on Twitter, and I also have my own YouTube channel. We do NASCAR Radio, which is a weekly show just on NASCAR cards, believe it or not, and it drops every Friday. So you might want to check that out. NASCAR cards, I think, are finally coming back. But been on Hobby Hotline long time. I'm an OG, John says, so that's good. So I've been on a while. I love Hobby Hotline. Please be sure to check it out and check out my channel and check out NASCAR Radio.
I got my own mic here. Yeah, I got my own mic. I'm Chris Harris.
Chris brought his mic with him.
Yeah. I'm doing this with one arm tied in front of my
Don't
chest,
try this at home.
Yeah.
Chris is a trained professional.
You might know me from Hobby News Daily. God bless
We know his
soul.
resume better than he does.
I'm still on East Coast time here, all right? I woke up at like 5:30 this morning, and I'm like miserable. I'm sorry. And I got Tom Brady over here staring over me like our overlord. Should have wore my Nick Foles mask just to keep it fair. But I used to write for Hobby News Daily. Maybe I might be writing for Collecting for SI soon. I don't know. And I've been on Hobby Hotline almost since the beginning.
Yeah, you're OG minus
Close
if
enough.
there is such. Yeah, close enough.
And I used to write a baseball card blog back in the day called Stale Gum. It's been inactive for a while, but it's still there. So
I am Victor Roman. I am on YouTube as Victor, the rookie card specialist. My work basically deals with understanding the history of the rookie card, proper identification of a rookie card. I actually did write a book, True Rookie Cards. I do have copies available. If you're interested in that after the show, you can get a hold of me. But been with Hobby Hotline for a few years now. Really enjoy the camaraderie and respect that we have for one another. And I love the diversity that we have of so many different voices.
I'm Brody 2K. You might know me on Instagram as Brody the Kid 1. I do the daily rip where I rip a pack of cards every day. I'm obviously on Hobby Hotline with all these people, and I love covering sports as long with anything with the hobby. You're going to see a lot of posts from me about Chicago sports as well. Go Sox.
And they won yesterday, Brody. I brought them luck. I went to the game, and they beat the Phillies. Sorry, Philly guys.
It's another series win. We're on fire.
Yeah.
I was at the game where the Phillies completely destroyed them.
Yeah, that was the day before. So Alex brings the Phillies luck. I'm not a Sox fan, but apparently I bring them luck when I show up to the game, except the 4-hour rain delay that I had to sit through before the game started. First question I'm going to ask Victor and Brody. I know you guys are really disappointed that the Nationals here the next 2 years after this one, being Chicago guys. But all joking aside, this is in their backyard, so that must be nice. But all right, let's get into some topics. We'll start off with one that's not a good one, but it's part of the hobby. It's part of the story and fabric of the hobby. And you know, you walk around this building, and there is a lot of autographed memorabilia here. There's autographed cards, and we heard about the story that broke about a week and a half ago about the forgery scandal based out of Indiana, and a gentleman, I won't name him, who wound up unfortunately committing suicide after posting a big long note basically throwing everyone involved under the bus. You know, this is, they're saying when all this smoke and dust, when the smoke clears and the dust settles, that this is going to be probably the biggest scandal to hit the hobby. Obviously, that's not a good story, but just some thoughts here. You know, are the effects going to trickle down to this year's National? Does it affect you as a collector? And, you know, where do we go from here with it? So whoever wants to jump in here.
Walking around the floor, like, you still see a lot of signed memorabilia, right? You know, I don't know if it's just still too fresh, right, to really affect the people that were coming here with their inventory. Like, how are they trying to figure out what stuff that they actually had that possibly was involved with it? So I'm seeing people buy it all over, carrying it around. But, again, TriStar has that lovely pavilion for a reason. And these days, if you want to make sure it's authentic, go get it yourself, right? Walk up there and get it signed yourself.
Yeah, leave no doubt, right? If you get it in person, you leave no doubt. You know, I talked about this on my own content. One thing I thought about, you know, coming into this show and this event is there are a lot of autograph dealers here who obviously everything's on the up and up. They've been around a long time. And this story whether they like it or not, it's going to affect them, right? They're going to get probably extra questions like, where did you get this? How did you get this? Because if you heard about this scandal, there's not only the autographs being fugazied, but even the certs and the holograms. So, you know, that's an extra layer where something can be sold as real, and you think it's real because it has a hologram or a COA, and that's not real, neither is the autograph. So I think about, as a dealer myself, not an autograph dealer, but they're going to be facing a lot of questions because of someone else's actions. They could be 100% above board, and they probably are, but now they have to deal with, it's like what we do with breakers, right? One bad breaker, and everyone kind of just lumps the whole breaking industry. They're all bad. And I think that's a little bit what might happen with autograph folks. So for those folks, I feel a little bit bad that they're going to deal with some of the fallout because the person who's the ringleader of it didn't stick around to face the music. Adam, I don't know if you do a daily thing where you talk about breaking news and topics, like kind of your thoughts, and you're a veteran of this show now as well, like just kind of your general thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, transparency is something that I'm always advocating for in the hobby, whether it's grading or whether it's more information in packs or anything. I mean, so to see one of the bigger scandals, like you said, from an autograph perspective, like I don't necessarily follow autographs. I just never got into it. The market is too not necessarily hot and cold, but there's too much of a spectrum between like what's a good autograph, what's a bad autograph. Athletes are always changing their autograph. So for me, it's the transparency of it that I really am hoping that all the companies can like learn from, and just not just assuming that we can trust every single company that's in this industry nowadays, I think is one of the important things that, like I said, I hope that companies realize that the more transparency they can give, I think the more trust they're going to earn. And that's another thing, like for so long, it just was the trust from the consumer was always just assumed, So now that we're seeing issues like this, it's really it is obviously going to be a big scandal, and once it becomes more mainstream, we're going to potentially see some more mainstream coverage of the industry. So if it's whether you're buying or selling or you're doing a show or breaks or anything, I think that offering the transparency up front is always going to be a good move for anybody that's doing any of that type of stuff.
Hey John, can I add? I've been a hobbyist for almost 40 years of my life, and I'm sick and tired of seeing these phony scams constantly happening within the hobby. I think it's time to clean this mess up. How does somebody fake a hologram and get away with it? I mean, that's always has been the key element of authenticity, and now that is being threatened. So we either need to step up our technology, or we need to educate people on how to properly look at a authentication hologram to see if it's authentic or not. I also think it opens up the door for the industry to really, for fanatics, let's just call it what it is, to really bring back consumer confidence in this area. Me personally, I have zero confidence in anything memorabilia right now. And there needs to be some consumer confidence rebuilt, and I think that should come through Fanatics, who holds the license and agreements with most of these players.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say, Victor, and you know this, I'm not telling you something you don't know, everyone up here probably knows this. Any industry, any business where people can do something illegally to make money, whether it be Wall Street, real estate, it's going to happen, or it's going to be tried to occur. And that's the unfortunate thing, because when you have dollars involved, not everyone wants to make them the right way, right?
Yeah.
But you're right, Victor. There's got to be something more, right? We got to take it to the next level.
Correct.
I think about people who make fake money, right? The FBI is in charge of staying ahead of those folks. It's a chess game. There's a new technology to make fake bills, and the FBI ups their game to kind of stay one step ahead of them. I think the hobby needs something along those similar lines. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying necessarily FBI, but the FBI is involved in this scandal now. This is a case there that's on their desk. So yeah, it's crazy. But
John, when it comes to the authenticity of memorabilia and the autographs portion side of it, I'm going to speak for myself and say that I'm ignorant on the topic. And the only reason why I'm ignorant on the topic is not because I'm not interested. It's because there's a lack of education out there. And that's how do we overcome ignorance in any category? It's education, education, education.
So are you saying you're going to be pivoting from doing rookie card content to regulation and autograph?
That's for somebody else.
Pivoting.
Chris, I kind of interrupted you.
Yeah. But there's kind of a class of consumer out there that really isn't buying these autographs for themselves. They're probably buying them for their loved ones. They may not be sports fans. How do you educate that person?
Yeah, that's tricky. I thought that's another one of the first things I thought of when this story broke, right? How many dads or moms or grandparents bought a Patrick Mahomes autographed item for their son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter, assuming it was real. It was priced sort of as if it was real, and they gave it as a gift for whatever, a birthday or Christmas. And that young person in this scenario believes they have a Patrick Mahomes auto that may not be a Patrick Mahomes auto, and that's sad
Well,
commentary.
It
when
could
you
be a
think-
Patrick Mahomes auto. It could be his dad.
Yeah, can
You know.
those parents adopt me because his auto's expensive, right?
Well, listen,
I want one of them.
You only have to walk around the show 10 minutes, Alex, to know there's some serious cash exchange in hands. But yeah, Victor's right. You know, anything better that can make that process better. You know, my advice, and I do a little autograph stuff, more cards percentage-wise, but I do buy autograph stuff. Ask questions, right, if you're making a purchase. Check the cert. Make sure the number matches in the database, in the registry that's online. You know, I said I feel bad because they're going to get peppered with questions, but if you're buying it from a dealer, or whether it's here or in person or online, right, ask that person, can you give me some of the provenance of how you acquired this and that sort of thing. Do some research, especially if it's a bigger purchase, right? If it's high 3 figures, 4 figures, that's something that you should probably do your due diligence before you just hand over your hard-earned money. So for sure, it's you know, it's sad to see, but you know, it's probably not the last time it's going to happen, and hopefully not on this kind of magnitude when it does.
So, being a hobbyist for 54 years, unlike Victor, this really makes me mad.
You're old.
Yeah, we are old.
Thought I was-
But you know, I used to like it when I would see news articles or things on TV about cards. But now, you know, the other night I saw on the NBC Nightly News, Caitlin Clark rookie, $660,000. People are like, oh my gosh, that's the lure of easy money. You know, the hobby's become more mainstream. So you get this element that comes in thinking that they can trick people, they can take their money, and I see a lot of hobby greed that I don't like. And it's really, really upsetting to me. I want my hobby back. I don't like the way it's going and the direction that it's going. As far as
Yeah.
you tell them.
Yeah.
But you know, being a NASCAR guy, you know, I feel bad for the people that have bought these autographs. Me personally, I don't think it really affects me because I don't buy any of those kind of autographs. But it's really a really bad deal, and I hope we can, like you said, Victor, educate people and get our arms around this and weed these people out and get rid of them, because I'm tired of it. I mean, I'm honestly tired of it.
Yeah, Logan, and on the, as far as the education side, how do we get that out to the masses? In the world of social media, that should be fairly easy to do.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right, Victor. But like Logan said, you do have some people that they're not hobbyists per se, but they're transacting in the hobby. They're making a hobby purchase while they themselves may not be a hobbyist. So that's where the disconnect lies. And I'm not going to pound the table because it's not my table, but I'm mad too. I'm mad too. I've been in the hobby, 40 years.
You can let your inner Howard
What is it?
feel
What
out,
is it too? What I want to know, what is it with this side of the three tables? It's like all the old people went
Brody,
here.
you gotta get over here. You're on the wrong side,
Yeah,
Brody.
well, no, we're keeping them. We're keeping them because he brings the average age of this side of the table down, so we don't feel as bad. So we now have an average age of 32 years old on this side of the
Well,
table.
I heard we were running a 4v4 basketball game after this, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm on this side, just so that way we Brody can come over here if he would like to, and just if he
I
wants
know
to be on
I'm
the winning
going
team.
last.
All right, let's from one great story to another one. Very few people who are active in the hobby don't have their cards graded or buy graded cards. And now there are people who deal in just raw cards, but the grading, as we all know, is a huge aspect of the hobby. It's a huge aspect of what we do up here, right? Full transparency, SGC is a sponsor of the Sports Card Nation podcast. I'm happy to say they re-upped through 2025, so got my fingers crossed. But, Peter Steinberg, who's a good friend of mine, and I know him real well through the years, and he recently stepped down. I'll just word it like that, stepped down from SGC after 7 great years there and building a great company and a great brand. And, I'm sure everyone up here has heard all the speculation and rumors that this could be the end of SGC. I know Ryan Hoge went on another podcast and talked about making them sort of boutique, whatever that means. I don't know if you can get like a vintage dress there now. I really don't know what boutique means, but I love the brand. I loved the brand before they were sponsored, so that's not me shilling or being a homer. I used them before they were ever sponsored. Them and PSA, coincidence by there. And I don't want them to go away, and I think a lot of people don't want them to go away. A lot of people are mad at collectors for some decisions and how things have went. But, speaking from a selfish point of view, I want to see the brand live on. I bulk sub for them. They did away with those rates. It is what it is. I still do it at a different price level, but they've been around 20 plus years themselves, and I think having them part of the grading terrain and is important, and I don't want to see them go away. Just some other thoughts here. Whoever wants to chime in, whether you want to make a prediction or what you think or how you feel.
Well, speaking as a former antitrust economist, when you have the dominant player in a marketplace buys out one of their competitors and all that's left are basically number 2 and number 4 now, that doesn't pass the smell test to me. And I know my former colleagues at my former employer have a lot better things to do right now with their time, but I'm surprised that this hasn't this acquisition has passed antitrust muster.
Yeah, listen, but there's other grading. I can see them from here, CGC. You have other.
Yeah, but that PSA grades what 75-80% of the market.
Yeah, no, I don't completely disagree. I just don't. I don't know if there's enough there to build that. Lauren or Brody, we haven't really heard from you. I'm going to put you on the spot here to chime in.
I'm ready. Yeah, I like SGC actually. I know PSA is the popular one. There's a couple things Thanks, sir. I personally don't prefer PSA. I don't like the sliding scale pricing. I'm not a big fan of that. That they evaluate the price of your card and it's, purely subjective based on them. I don't like that there's no transparency about the grade. You don't know the breakdown of like why you got a 9 instead of a 10 or why a beautiful card is now graded a PSA 6. I don't love that. I personally had a card that I pulled that was really big for me, a Coco Gauff Gold, and it was the same week that she won the US Open, and that was huge for me. And we submitted it to PSA, and they, which we don't usually grade, but we were like, this is a big card for us. We'll put it in PSA slab and like lock it up. And we got an email that it was a 10, but they damaged it in the sealing process, and now it's an 8. And that's a PC card that is very personal to me. That is now, it has a story behind it, but not a good one. It had a great story behind it, and now it's like womp womp. So I didn't mean for this to turn into a rant against PSA, but I'm not a fan. So my point being, in relation to SGC, I love SGC. I think their pricing is good. I like their slabs. The turnaround time is good. I do live in Florida, so it's like, pretty great for me. And I think it's good to have diversity because people have different preferences. And, there's different card designs and stuff. People sometimes like the aesthetics better of SGC or Beckett versus PSA. Or CGC, and I like SGC. I hope that they stick around. I know that it's a behemoth going up against PSA. If anybody could do it, it'd be Beckett, and it's hard. It's a hard market, but I think you got to stick with what you love and support the companies that support you back. And I ride for SGC. I like SGC a lot, and I'm not opposed to PSA. I know that that's the standard and people love it, but for me personally, I will not submit a card to PSA again. That's just personally how I feel. So I hope SGC thrives and sticks around. So.
Yeah, so I'm not personally a person that grades that much. I buy graded cards, but I think in the long run we need as many companies possible. More grading companies, the better, especially since I would think it's fair to say SGC's number 2 or number 3. And, I want the quality control of the top companies to stay well. And I don't think it's crazy to say that ever since Topps extended their deal and is soon to get the football and basketball deals, the quality control hasn't been as good as before. And I think a lot of people have noticed that with the $300 Topps Chrome boxes that aren't guaranteeing you a number card. We need competition or else the whole hobby can become a monopoly.
Yeah, I agree. Well said, Brody. Keep I hope they keep SGC around and let people make that choice, right? There's rumors that they want SGC to be like their vintage end. I'm not opposed to that. I'd rather that than them phase them out. At least they're still around, and I do a lot of vintage, so it's right in my wheelhouse, if you will. But we'll see. But time will tell. I thought it was a good sign when they re-upped through the end of the year. So I'm assuming that means we'll have them at least in 2025, and then we'll see what 2026 brings.
Yeah, I think, I'm come originally from, playing sports video games, like the cards in the video games, and eventually I was like, there's got to be a way to trade cards in real life and make money from it. So, the one thing that everyone complains about in the video game industry is just, the exclusive publishers like EA and, Sony that make the MLB game. They can just come out with the same game, basically. That's what they've been doing. They come out with a new engine every 5-10 years or so. But, if you were to play Madden, 25 versus Madden 21, it's the same exact game. So, they come out with the new features, which is good, but I think like Brody was saying, I just think we need as many companies, we need to give collectors the option to choose what grading card company they can go to. I mean, I think at this point it's maybe a little bit too late for them to choose like what cards they want to buy, because Topps and Fanatics are buying all those licenses. But I think the more options for collectors is going to just ultimately it's going to lead to a healthier market where there's not only one option, you have multiple options.
Yeah, for sure, and well, time will tell, right? I think they're safe for 25. I'll go out on that limb, and I get asked all the time, between them being a sponsor, me using them, bulk subbing, and I really don't have, as crazy as it sounds, I don't have any insider trading. I kind of Chris said, like, you can kind of see how this goes with other mergers and acquisitions. But all right, let's go on to a little more positive stuff now. Let's get some national talk in here. The national this year expanded. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't add any commentary. I'm going to acquiesce to the panel up here. But they had I think 75 more dealers with a limit of one table. They are all new dealers from what I'm being told. So some new blood for those that like new blood, and see some new selections and new showcases. I think that's good, right? I fall on both sides. I think someone who's done the show for 40 years should get to continue to do the show. Be loyal to who have helped build your show, right? I promoted a few shows back in the day. If someone did every show I did, they're automatically, as long as they want to be in the next show. I think that's how it should be. But it's nice to see them sort of expand, add some more room, add some more fresh faces, some new dealers. I have not seen the area yet. I will, obviously, but has anybody on the panel seen it, and your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'll say my husband and I are. Hi, Samuel. Samuel's here. I will say we are one of the new vendors, and we are very stoked and very grateful that we are able to get in here. And it's been bonkers for us. We've done Dallas. We did Fanatics Fest.
So you're set up there?
Yes. Yeah, we're over there, kind of like next to Panini. So we're not upstairs, which everybody go check out upstairs. Also, if you didn't know, there are more booths upstairs, so check that out. But we're over that way, and it's awesome. It's great. I agree with you that the people who built this show do deserve to keep their spot if they want it. I think that's really important. And there's people that this is a Super Bowl for us. So there are people that this is the only time of year that you see these people, and it might be you might have been coming here for 45 years, and you want to see that person. You want to check in with them, see what they're up to, see what they've got, see what your collections look like. That's important, and that's an important part of the hobby community, I think. But as somebody who is coming in new and fresh, I really appreciate that opportunity to become the future fabric of that. Because it's very hard to get in here, and we don't take that for granted. And I think it is important to make room for people where you can, because and there are bad actors who just hold their table down, or they sell it for an astronomical price or whatever. And I know that's few and far between, but I think it's good that they're making way for the future. I know the National has also really stepped up their social media and their outreach, their email marketing, their influencers. I mean, it's very important and very helpful to push the hobby forward, and I think it's making for a better show, personally. So
Hobby Hotline just made its first in-game trade. Here's the trade as announced. We traded Alex Tressler for Mr. Samuel Evans and a player to be named later. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding with that part, but I'm not kidding. Mr. Samuel Evans is here. I have him introduce yourself. I know I just gave you one, but you'll do a better one than I just did. So,
what's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is having an amazing 45th National. This is my second National. Cleveland was my first one. This is my first time in Chicago for the National. And I'm excited to see where the national goes over the next couple of years, especially with all.
It's not going anywhere, Samuel.
Yeah.
It's staying right.
I'm excited to see where it go, because over the next couple of years, there's so many amazing programs that's coming. We're building out an educational program through these specific 4 pillars of collecting, and it's going to be amazing to see how the next generation of collectors, take the hobby to the next level, and not just from like the collecting side, but the other side, the industry side, the entrepreneurial side, and then that sustainability piece, and just making sure that there's access points for everyone to appreciate and explore this thing that we all love. Because just on this table, there are collectors who've been in this space, sitting in this room, collectors who've been in this space for longer than I've been alive, and it's just amazing to see the National have that forward thinking about like how can we nurture and create access points for the next generation of collectors so they can carry the torch one day. And it's amazing. And
Yeah, because this side of the table, Samuel, we're on our way out. Not Brody, but the rest of us. So you weren't here, but all the old guys sort of just migrated to this side of the table. But we recruited Brody to bring our average age down to like 32.
And not to get on my soapbox, but I'm an educator by day. I'm a principal. I'm a middle school principal. This is like my passion. And it's awesome that I get to combine my professional, what I do as a professional, with my personal passion as a collector, a storyteller. And I just want to say, in this room, there are going to be thousands and thousands of people coming in and out of this building every day. And just take the time to stop and check in with someone and meet someone new and learn their cardboard story. And you never know, from that connection, the friendships, the lifelong friendship, the connection that you might build with that person, and next thing you know, you're waiting to meet and see them at the National every year.
Yeah, the National for me, we've come to call it a family reunion. I think this is my 21st National. I've lost count. But, I see people in the crowd. There's Jeremy Lee out there. I saw Rob and Ivan over here. Just people that I really love, and I only get to see them once a year. So for me, the National, like I said, is just a big family reunion. There are cards involved as well, but it's a lot of fun. I'm glad to see the crowds. I can remember when this room was just the National. We didn't have the cubby hole. We didn't have anything over there on the other side, nothing upstairs. It's amazing how well it's grown. It's my favorite venue. I like coming here better than anything, and I wish that I would love to see it stay here and have its permanent home here, but I know that's not going to happen. No.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I'd like to make 2 points about the National. First is seniority. I can respect the hierarchy of dealers that are tenured and protecting their rights to first dibs. But being in Chicago, we're a strong union organization, and as a railroad worker myself, I understand the importance of seniority and agreements, but at the same time, in my line of work, there's a thing called apprentices, and I think that's the one thing that the National has been lacking. But this year, with the upstairs and the additional 75 dealers that are up there, I think that's a nice pool that we can term as apprentices. So if there's a spot that opens up down here in the main stage, we have a pool of dealers that have paid their dues, and we can now transition them into the main stage down here. And I don't know, it's just me thinking in that aspect. The other thing that is the entire town of Rosemont, Illinois. I did a Google search this morning. There are 41 hotels in Rosemont, Illinois. This entire town has been built for this convention center.
Yep.
And that's what makes this convention center so special.
Yeah, I agree. I think the National in Chicago is definitely a one-on-one. It's a one-on-one moment. Walking in here 2 days before the show started just to see the room for the first time, and then coming back to see people in here, I was just in awe of everything and just taking it all in. So it's definitely a one-on-one moment.
It does need to come back to the East Coast, though.
2 nationals. I think the bloom comes off the rose. I think when you have 2 of something, it's like 2 of 2 or 1 of 1, right? Which holds more caveat. I only want to see 1 national, unless you call it something else. I mean, we do have big other shows, right? With Dallas card show. Victor, and Brody know the Spectacular, which is held in this building itself. I know it's a different show, but we got Fanatics Fest. So I don't want to see 2 nationals, but if they want to do something along those lines, maybe that, but not called, National 1 and National 2.
It could be the Nationals, John.
Where's Suze? If you can hear me, I hope you're enjoying the Nationals. Want to see 2 nationals?
1 national.
I would probably just extend it. I mean, even if you go like Sunday to Sunday, you add the previous Sunday and then Monday, Tuesday, and then extend Wednesday to not just a sneak peek, maybe, I don't know, hypothetically do a sneak peek on the Sunday. That would probably be the way to go, but I also think once you start adding those days, the crowds will definitely start to thin out, because you're going to have people who can't come out for the whole week, or at least they can't come out for the full Sunday to Sunday. I mean, obviously the dealers and all of the hobby shops, and I mean, that's probably another thing. There's probably hobby shops that are here that their whole staff is here, so they can't. Hypothetically, yeah, they're maybe making a decent amount of money here, but the amount of money that they have to pay and the amount of money that it takes for travel and then travel for everybody, I don't know if it's logistically possible for certain hobby shops to close down for the whole week and miss out on some of that revenue
that does happen though. I'm not saying every store is closed here, but there are some that are here that are have a sign on their door say National Week, see you Monday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's right. That's exactly.
I think to that point, right? We all want to stay in Candyland forever, but we can't, right? And we got to get back to reality eventually. But I do think the commitment that the National is making in terms of its media content and a way to how can we keep the National at the forefront of everybody's mind leading up to this magical week throughout the year. And there's a lot of cool projects and a lot of things that's in the works where you'll be able to have those exploratory moments throughout the calendar months leading up to this magical week that we all look forward to every year. Whereas though what's happening, you can hear amazing stories, you get this idea of who's going to be here, and it's just another way to have that exploration with the National, even though you're not physically in the building. But it's the lead up, the build up to it. And I think the commitment that they're making with media and making sure the National stays at the forefront of our minds is gonna help that.
Yeah, I agree, right? A lot with content creation, right? People love that stuff. I know that firsthand. I'm a benefactor of that firsthand, being transparent. But we're creating that content. Like Sam, everyone up here creates content that promotes the hobby, and it's free promotion, right? We're not charging. If you know where to send a bill to the hobby, let me know the address. I'm kidding, but we're promoting the hobby, right? And that's important. And so, like Samuel said, it's nice that they sort of see that and are comfortable and good with that, and sort of reciprocating that love, if you will.
And they also doing it, they're thinking about it from a diverse perspective. So everyone can have their own point of view on how they want to explore the hobby, because yes, we're all in here for cards, but we all explore the hobby in our own unique way. And they're really thinking about that, so that way everyone has an avenue to consume the content that best suits them and what they want to enjoy.
So I know what Victor, and we do this question, I feel like we do this question every year when we're up here. And, it's in Chicago the next 2 years as well. What I want to know, do they leave everything here for the year and just come back? I'm kidding. I know there are other events here. But who here would want it to just be here every year? I know Logan said yeah. See, I'm an East Coast guy. Like, I love this venue. I love Chicago. I enjoy all the stuff even outside the show, whether it be a sporting event. I like to eat. I know that's hard to believe when you look at me because I'm very thin. But I love the restaurants, right? But, you know, this national always costs me a little bit more money. I'm not trying to have a pity party, maybe a little bit. I'll start a GoFundMe, but I have to fly, rent a car.
Cash donations after the show.
So it does cost me a little bit more money to make the trip. I'm still going to do it, but I have a little less money to buy cards, so that's where the pity party comes in. But I'll still get those too. I like to see it move around. I know we're not going to see it in Cleveland now. Walmart bought that building, for those that don't know. I know people don't like the city of Atlantic City, but I'm not going there for the casino. I'm going there for this show. Yeah. I'd love to see it come back. It's a 5-hour drive for me. But even another, it doesn't have to be Atlantic City, somewhere on the East Coast. You know, Samuel's Philly guy, Chris.
That's my dream, Philadelphia, but it'll never happen.
You got Philly. Well, what about Baltimore? What about Baltimore, right? Yeah. What about, I've heard Nashville be brought up before. That's a city that's really growing by leaps and bounds. I'm being told, I've never been there, I'm being told they have a pretty large convention center, much on par with the one we're in here today. So maybe Nashville. And someone told me, is this true? Somebody told me that the voting is done for the 2028, and Atlanta beat Detroit. Is that right?
Well,
Breaking
there's a
news.
banner in the VIP area that says, "Congratulations, Atlanta 2028."
Really?
Wow. Everyone, like all the leader in the clubhouse was Detroit. I was almost raking my reservations for Detroit, and then I heard this news, and Chris, you saw the banner.
I saw the banner.
So apparently, well, the verdict is in 2028. Going to be a southern national in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't mind that. Like either Detroit or Atlanta. I like seeing different cities, right? So it's been in Atlanta, but it's been over 20 years, I'm being told, for Atlanta. So they're getting it back again. So if you're going to the 2028 National, you're headed to Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, I think it being in the middle of the country makes a lot of sense, just because you can come from either side. You can come from either coast and get here. I mean, Chicago, there's hundreds and thousands of flights every single day, so like it's a little bit easier to get in. Like I know Atlantic City, you had to like fly to. Yeah, you couldn't fly directly there, so like that was kind of one of the big issues. I mean, Atlanta, that's another huge airport, so I'm sure the flights are going to be cheap there, as long as the weather is not like, because summers in Atlanta can get up to like 110. It's super hot. It's hot down there.
Well, I will say this: the AC in here is great so far. I don't want to jinx it and say it too loud. So they've proven that they can pull off AC. Wi-Fi seems okay as well. So. Maybe they figured stuff out. So Atlanta is hot, but inside, hopefully it's not. Or it'll be hot. The show will be hot.
Right.
Hopefully the room won't be.
Yeah, and Dallas, I think would be. It's the infrastructure is already there for that. I don't know if the Dallas Card Show would not want the National in Dallas, just because it's like then they're kind of competing. Which I mean. They are competing, but at the same time they're not, because it's like people who are going to the Dallas show are still people who are going to the National also. So, like I said, middle of the country I think is probably the best bet. That way you can get the West Coast people coming in, you get the East Coast, you get maybe people in like Texas and down south as well.
See, I feel bad for people on the West Coast, because I know you got the Burbank Card Show, which is a big show, but national-wise, you're always traveling. Like Chicago is the closest to home at this point. The National is for you. Us East Coast guys sort of have our cake and eat it too, right? This is the furthest we've had to go, and we can do it, or most of us can do it, and then we can get it even closer. It's nice to see again Atlanta with them winning the dealer vote. So now we'll have it in the South, but it would cost me even more money than Chicago already does, but I would still attend a West Coast show. I've never been that
Anaheim, I know
far.
they used to do it in Anaheim, right?
Yeah, and like, what about Seattle? Huge sports town now with the NHL and obviously baseball. And I would love to see it in Seattle or Portland.
Here's what we should do. We should just keep saying different cities, so that way people in the crowd, like we got the
We'll
Seattle
take
guy who's
care of
like, yeah,
everybody.
Seattle.
How about Syracuse, New York?
How about Kansas City?
Milton, Delaware.
Have we heard that they're going
Omaha, Nebraska. I know. Ivan would vote for that one.
Have we heard that they're going to still rotate and Chicago be every other year, or are they going to start just doing new cities every year?
I don't know. What's 2029? Back to Chicago? I guess we'll know maybe even after this show what the next year on the table is, or if it may not even be on the table, it may just be Chicago. I think Chicago, like everyone up here said, is sort of the
Flagship.
the flagship of the National, right? That's a good way to put it, Victor. So I think you'll see it here more in comparison to other cities. But I like that we'll still be able to see it in other cities, be it Atlanta or Detroit, which lost. Sorry, Detroit. No offense, you're used to losing. No, I'm just kidding. If you're from Detroit, my name is Bob Smith. No, but no, I like to see it move around too. I love to see it, come back to the East Coast even. Nashville, I know I mentioned. You got Texas. Even if it's not Dallas, what about Houston? Right? Texas is a big state.
Yep.
It's not just Dallas. I know that's a big part of Texas, but you got Houston, San Antonio. You got other bigger cities there. So I like to see different towns, different venues. So I have no problem with Chicago. Vegas, they did the Mint Collective there for a few years. I don't know. I gotta think there's a convention center in Vegas that can hold the event. So that's a good one. By
Just do it
Adam.
at the Sphere.
Yeah. And you two will play while we buy cards. So and they could do the song. I still haven't found what I'm looking for, and they have a double meaning, sort of like what I haven't found that card. But no, I hope it does. Hit other venues, hit other cities. Congrats to Atlanta. Would you change? I know we're sort of got a few minutes left. This for anybody. Would you change anything? Like, would you take something away or add to anything to make the National better than it already is? Or did they nail it?
I think maybe move the autographs upstairs and bring all the dealers down here and be in one spot. I think that would be something they could do.
Bring back free parking for VIPs, especially here.
Have Gibson's cater. That would be one of my improvement, maybe.
Yeah, I'll sign the petition on all of those. But still, obviously, it's a great event. Like Logan said, I've stole his line even on my contact, right? The Hobby family reunion. I don't know if I'm the first to say it. I always call it the Hobby Super Bowl of the hobby. It's fun. That's why we're all here. That's why there's so many people here. It's the week we circle on the calendar. We already know what the dates are next year, right? And so does my employer. They know I won't be at work that week. So it's fun. I want to thank everyone up here for being part of this show and this panel, not just today, but even when we're on our regular content schedule. I want to thank the powers that be here at the National for letting us do this every year. I know we've done this quite a bit now, but it's still an honor and a privilege and a lot of fun to share the stage with some great folks. So check out their content individually as well. Check out Hobby Hotline. We might have some news coming down the turnpike. We'll see how that goes. There's some stickers up here and some keychains. They are free. Help yourself. Anyone want any parting words?
I think Chris should take us out.
Yeah, Chris, what do you always say at the end of the show?
Oh yeah. You want me to do the gimmick?
Do it,
The whole Neil Young.
Do it.
Keep on rocking to the free world, folks.
There you go. Thank you.